just autocorrected rape to tape sexist.
This guy held the door for me the other day. I have arms. So sexist.
There's just something so masculine about this site. Sexist.
Yeah, I let him pay for dinner, but it just felt so sexist.
I'm not bossy, you sexist. Stop staring at my tits, you sexist. Did you just take out your dick? Sexist.
This is an issue that gets worse the more we talk about it. With every mention of sexism, the wall between men and women gets thicker. When we accuse everything and everybody of being sexist, we dilute the word and leave it empty of meaning. We really need to start picking our battles. Wolf whistles, ass-slapping, derogatory terms are annoying, but this is surface sexism. The worst kind of sexism that still exists in the West isn't piggish, it's subtle. It's poison, sometimes deliberate, but more often it's carried out by the unconscious mind. It usually doesn't have intent behind it. It's this kind of knee-jerk reaction. It's the dismissive attitude, the assumptions. It's when a guy doesn't want to work with you before evaluating your ability. It's when a guy does want to work with you before evaluating your ability. Personally, I find the latter more annoying. But good news, this subtle sexism is dying out with every generation. It's the systematic, encouraged cultural sexism reinforced by upbringing and religion that's hard to get rid of. There are countries still today that equate women to cattle. There are countries still today that are practicing a female genocide because they find women to be the less valuable sex. But I guess Rashida Manjoo forgot about this when she recently claimed that Britain is the world's most sexist country. The former two only require you to disassociate, ignore, or scoff. The latter requires a social renaissance. There's this pervasive irony that haunts me. There's these fields that are dominated by males, but that were actually sparked by females. Programming, Ada Lovelace, 1800s. Science fiction, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, 1800s. And even this recent freedom movement, libertarianism, anarcho-capitalism, laissez-faire economics, they all fall back on Ayn Rand's objectivist philosophy. And of course, she's not the only contributor, and she took away from a lot of other philosophies, but I hope you get the point I'm trying to make. So where are the ladies? I went to a Bitcoin conference recently, which ties these three fields together quite nicely, and not many women around. Now, why is that? I can accept the biological predisposition of disinterest to an extent. Statistically, women do tend to favor the social sciences versus the hard sciences. Maybe Ada, Ayn, and Mary are just very special women. Maybe me and those other 5 girls at the Bitcoin conference are just different. I don't really buy that though. But okay, let's say we are exceptions to the rule. Shouldn't there be more exceptions? We wanted equal opportunity, we got it, so what are we doing with it? These men are not holding us back, and even if they wanted to, they couldn't. But most of them seem either happy or impartial to have us in these fields. Have we got nobody left to blame? Are we holding ourselves back? Has sexism become an excuse? When women are working less hours than men, yes, there's a wage gap. When women are working social, indoor, safe jobs, while men are working isolating, outdoor, dangerous jobs that pay more, yes, there's a wage gap. When women have to take 10 years out of their professional life to raise children, while men get to continue to build up their experience, yes, there's a wage gap. Now, when you compare women that never married and never had kids with childless men who never married, there's no wage gap. When women are portrayed as bitchy harpies, evil seductresses, or empty prize vessels for the male hero, sure, it rubs me the wrong way. But then I remember 2 things. 1, As human beings, we have a tendency to only remember the bad. There are plenty of movies, TV shows, books, video games that have fleshed out relatable female characters. 2. Male stereotypes. The emotionless hero, the compliant idiot, the dopey soft husband. We have a choice, don't we? Read Gone with the Wind instead of Twilight. Watch Aliens or Hunger Games instead of Knocked Up and Transformers. If you find Disney and Pixar sexist, then watch Miyazaki's films. Write your own stories, make your own films, design your own video games where women have personality and depth of character that are relatable, that are strong. Create your own reality. We are not victims of culture. We are culture. A word can't be sexist, and if you think calling women slags and hoes reinforces sexism, then don't use the words. But don't police me. This is my language too. I'll call a woman bossy if she is. I'll call a woman a if she is. See? Censorship. It's about control, isn't it? It's about the incremental eradication of freedom. Remember how in the 1920s, Edward Bernays sold women the idea that smoking cigarettes is empowering and liberating? Well, the Rockefeller Foundation and the CIA funded and sold us a new type of feminism, which, like those cigarettes, is death. Because what they really sold us was statism, and statism is death. This feminism isn't pure and humanitarian like what the original feminists wrote about. It's not about empowering women. It's not a reaction to oppression. It's not about considering women the rational human beings that we are. It's not about raising our value to the same level as men. It's all about social control and money. The main reason they wanted to liberate women was because they were missing half of their tax cattle. Equality? Yeah, they wanted equality. They wanted women working the same shitty jobs and the same long hours so they could pay their dues to the state. Oh, sweet liberation! I can now stand side by side with my husband in a factory, slowly dying while they milk me. But it goes deeper than that. This was part of a new political investment, a new microphysics of power. They were engineering docility. Liberate the mothers out of the home, destroy the family unit, create a dependent welfare class, take the children, and program their minds so that their bodies do what the state wants. Mary Wollstonecraft, one of the mothers of feminism, argued that the mental inequality between men and women was caused by a lack of education. She said this made women essential as we are the educators of our children. Today, we have betrayed this. Today, we grovel to the state for privilege. We grovel to the state for our rights. We demand handouts and social policy so that we can artificially feel equal to men. But state-granted equality is a comfortable simulation. Don't subscribe to it. Ladies, we are as valuable as men. And if we want something, we should take it instead of asking the state to give it to us. True social change comes from a cumulative individual action, not social policy and laws. Don't we lose the essence of equality when it's granted to us by people sitting around in rooms signing documents? So there's a great betrayal here. Women were not liberated from the dependence on their husbands. Women were transferred to the dependence on Big Brother.
If you're trying to wreck my life, why don't you just smile and have a good time about it? I'm always trying